always, the first session is always a lot of introductory talk, a lot of thinking about what the whole context is about. But we're going to get started now. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. And usually I have a sort of a way that I ask people where they are from, and of course, what they are trying to achieve during this course. And obviously you answered some of these questions in the application form, but I'm going to ask you again. And so I really would appreciate for everybody to put on the cameras, because it really makes more of a group effort. And I hope that we are becoming more of a group as we get along. And well, I'm just going to start with Gifat. Gifat, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, hello.
How are you
Sorry,
doing?
can you hear me?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you? Where are you from?
Okay, so I'm David Kefazampiao. I'm 23. I'll be turning 24 next week. Online.
Great.
Yeah, I'm from Ghana, currently in Accra. Yeah.
And what do you do daily in your daily life?
So where do I start from? All right, so I'm an upcoming architect, right? I just finished university last year, and practicing to take part of the exams to become an architect. Currently, I'm taking the Edge Expert training as well to become an Edge Expert as well. So that's more in the field of green building and sustainable architecture, basically. I work at Mobius Architecture. It's a firm in Ghana, and I think that's basically it about me. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to achieve from working within metaverses? What is your aspirations?
Personally, I'm the person that believes that whatever we do today, it's not really for today. Like what we do today affects the future. So most of the decisions I make on my daily basis are things that I feel like would make a direct, a positive impact in the future. And metaverse is the future. As to how it's being appeared right now, it looks like it's a new, how do I put it, platform or a new something at the moment. But I can see very clearly that metaverse is the future. And architecture is basically sort of the structure that metaverse is going to be built upon. Let me put it that way. And I would like to be part of that movement that leads or that supports the build-up of metaverse, creating an environment for people in the metaverse, basically. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah. So Precious, could you hear what Gifat was saying?
Hi. Let me know if you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear
Okay, it's kind of breaking on my end, but hello everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. And if not, then you can also turn off your camera just for when you talk. Maybe that makes the sound a little bit better. But my question to you was, could you hear Gifat? And do you agree a little bit? Do you have similar experiences? And who are you and where are you from? All of that.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear Gifat. I am Precious Oluchi Amadi, and I am from Lagos, Nigeria. So I work as a product designer, right? I've been in the tech space for a couple of years now, but I do not have a tech background, right? So I dived into design sometime about 2 years ago. So I've always been an enthusiast of Web3, the metaverse, and blockchain and all of that. I've always been an enthusiast. But then, getting, courses that focus on designing for the metaverse is not something you see every day. Yeah, there are product design courses here and there, of course, but you know designing for the metaverse is something I've always wanted to do. I've always been a Web3 enthusiast. So yeah, what I intend achieving from the program is, of course, being a better designer and getting skills in Web3, metaverse, blockchain, and the rest of them. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Precious. It's so great to meet all of you, and cool shades, Bifat. I like the glasses. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of you, by the way. We're all like, all three of us have pretty cool glasses. I would add to that. Hey, and Precious, and we're gonna talk all about these things. It's gonna be step by step. We're gonna take you through the process of developing and designing. Maybe you know some of these things already, but then it's still good to practice it more often, right? It also gives us an opportunity to see your thoughts, and I would like to think about from your perspective how design will actually, materialize in this virtual world. So, Tanaka, how are things?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanaka. I am originally from Zimbabwe, but I'm currently in South Africa. Just finished studying construction studies and also been doing a lot of design thinking of late. What I wish to achieve is to really learn about the metaverse. I find that when we are doing a lot of design thinking, we are designing problems, and the solutions are like tech-based. We design something for the metaverse, or we design something using apps and stuff, but I don't really know and understand how the infrastructure is like how you actually build on those things. It's like the things that are on top of our heads that, oh, the metaverse is coming and stuff like that, but we don't know actually how to build on it, what it contains, how it affects us, and all of that. So that's what I wish to learn from this course.
And what do you do? How old are you? And what do you do like in a daily life? Like, do you work or do you study?
I study. I just finished studying, and I'm 23 years old.
I know, by the way, but I'm just asking also for the other participants because you guys don't know each other. We're all in a Signal group now, and I hope that you guys share a lot more information about your life, and because we're gonna create a small community, right? This is going to be maybe an important part of your network for the next coming years. You know what I mean? Alan, you know what I'm getting at? Your microphone, your microphone is off, buddy.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Tell me, what do you think about your colleagues now? Are you guys eager to work with each other? Are you thinking about what do you think about the metaverse, buddy?
Well, it's a very fascinating prospect for me. I've always been very happy to engage in new things and see how we can change the past things that we have currently. So I'm very excited, and I can see I'm happy. I'm ready to work. Very enthusiastic.
Okay, good. Well, as you might, get to learn from the upcoming weeks, not everybody's connection is going to be perfect. Also, mine will probably be not perfect all the time. I'm traveling a lot throughout Europe, so that's something. Also, there's a way of just communicating that, right? So one of the basic things with online teaching is that we have to communicate with each other when things are not working or you can't hear me. Just say, hey, Rudolph, I can't hear you. Or, we have to sometimes even, people have to get out of the program, get into the program. We'll be doing a lot of presenting also, right? So it's important that we just have a sort of an understanding that, this is not flawless. We need to get on this as soon as we can. Also, 4, I think, candidates are not at this moment present, right? And so there might be, I might select some other candidates because I want this group to be a little bit bigger, get a little bit more experiences from other people. So there might be some new faces, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we are going to do in the next couple of weeks, I'll give you a presentation of that. But this is just the basic rules, right? So one is we're gonna see if everybody gets on the program on time. That's important, get on the call. It's cool to have everybody around because we're gonna learn from each other. 2, if things are not working well, or your infrastructure, your internet's not working well, just give me a heads up or something we can work around. But it's not a problem, okay? That happens all the time. Cool. Annie, I can only see Annie and a question mark and a heart. How are you doing? How's life?
Hi, life is okay.
So we've been just doing a little bit of an introduction round. Can you tell me a little bit like what do you do in daily life? What do you think about the metaverse? What do you want from this course?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Cecilia Anjao. I am 23 years old. I am a diploma graduate in architectural technology in the Gambia. Yeah. About the metaverse, I don't know really what it is, but then after checking about it on the internet, I was able to know that it connects people, and then it also deals with reality things and virtual things. So as an aspiring architect, I've always wanted to be an influential and a great person in the future. So me joining this program, I am really interested in achieving one of my goals, which is to be an influential and a great person in the future, and then also leave my comfort zone. Hence, I am a very timid person and stuff. So with the metaverse, I am really hoping to achieve a lot of things.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And there's a place for timid persons in this course as well. So, and just to let you know, we will all be building in a metaverse. At the end of the course, we will test our designs as a mock-up, right? In a program. It's an online program that we use to test our ideas. And like I mentioned earlier, and I will mention it later, if you want, we would like to offer you the opportunity, only if you want to explore your design in our demo metaverse for Afoma Land. So you can choose as the assignment to build a project based in Afoma Land, and that we will help with our developers. We will help that design to become like really polished, and and think about how you want to design it, obviously, and execute that for the demo version of Afoma Land. Yes, is that clear to everybody? But that's going to be later. First, another very important thing. I'm going to do a PowerPoint. Okay, so don't kill me for it. It's just the introductory PowerPoint. I'm going to do a couple more, and I forgot to put in interesting pictures. So it's going to be a lot of text, but okay, I'll try to talk as exciting as possible so that it becomes like a funny and great, amazing, enthusiastic PowerPoint and not a super boring PowerPoint. And I'll promise you, I'll try not to, make it too slow. But I think this PowerPoint is kind of relevant just to kick off, just to get a little bit of a macro perspective, right? So Cecilia, what do you think I mean with a macro perspective? Can you hear me? Your microphone is, I think, off, muted. Otherwise, I'm going to go think about it. Alan.
I was saying I didn't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, what did you say?
I was wondering,
Yes.
when I'm talking about a macro perspective, what am I talking about when I'm talking about a macro perspective in regards to metaverse?
No idea.
No, don't worry. Precious, what do you think when I'm talking about a macro perspective? Can you hear me, Precious? You're on mute, I think. Precious, can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. You asked me a question.
I was wondering if I'm talking. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Yeah? Naka, you can hear me, right? Okay. So my question was,
Yeah,
when I'm talking
I
about.
can hear you now.
Okay, great. What I'm talking about, I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea about what the context of, metaverse is in a macro perspective. What do you think I mean with that?
Metaverse in what perspective?
Well, maybe I'll just give you you guys the answer. So you have to understand that the metaverse is a part of a far larger development, right? The larger development is how in the world we create and explore technology as humans, right? The metaverse is just one part of this. There are multiple aspects to when the global development is seen from a technological perspective. There is going to be multiple things that are going to be relevant in the future, and metaverse is going to be one of them. Metaverse is also kind of part of two other technologies, virtual reality, right? Or XR, right? Virtual reality is when you are immersed in a virtual environment through glasses, and let's say blockchain technology, right? So when I'm talking about how are we looking at metaverse development from a macro perspective, I am talking about like how we should see this in the larger scope first, and this is going to be where the presentation is going to be about. And then as we go into the future in the course, right, I will tell you more about the details in regards to that. Is that clear, Gifat?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna start, okay? Everybody okay? Everybody, I'll share the PowerPoint with you, okay? So you don't have to take notes, but if you want to, please do. I mean, in the end, it's always good to take notes, okay? I'm gonna start now. Right. No. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. Right. So this is going to be like a little bit of a summary of our course, okay? The course is named Metaverse Design Thinking. And what I want to ask you is, why are we actually doing this, right? Why are we doing this Metaverse Design Thinking course? But to ask that question, right, we first have to understand is, what is a metaverse? And it's not a simple thing, because most people have different ideas of what a metaverse actually is. It's not a new concept. It's actually quite an old concept. It has been in science fiction books for a longer time. And now recently, it has become a very relevant topic. And I'll tell you why it's a relevant topic later. But let's just first try to define it. So, although it has been in science fiction books for a longer time, and even in the movie like The Matrix, right? Tanaka, you've seen The Matrix? No?
Not
Okay.
yet.
Who has seen The Matrix?
I have.
Precious? Yeah? Okay, so that's good. Okay, so the Matrix could be seen as a metaverse, right? And the Matrix is like 20 years ago. So we already had this concepts, right? But the actual building of metaverses is pretty new, okay? It's pretty new because the technology you need to create an environment where you can have multiple people in one space, it's kind of relatively new. We have seen it in gaming, but that's not the same, okay? Metaverse is more a place where you can create a society, and gaming is a place where you can create games. So it's very, very early. There's nobody really can define it yet. We don't maybe need to define it. But the whole idea is that you are a physical person, right? You are a physical person in this world. And in a metaverse, you can embody, right, a digital person. You can be someone else, right? Okay? And you can do things there. You can play, you can talk with people, you can socialize. But more important, you can buy products, right? Just again, for the people that that weren't here at the very first beginning, I just had an operation yesterday. So if I'm just moving around, it's because I'm in my sick bed, and I'm in a lot of pain. So just to let you know. Okay. So, but you can also buy. Obviously, you can buy stuff in the metaverse, right? And that's why people think that the metaverse will be a trillion, dollar industry, which is a lot. That's a lot of money. Okay. Do we all agree that $1 trillion is a lot of money? Yeah. Okay.
It's
And
a
it will
lot.
grow bigger. Who is that? Sorry. I heard somebody. If you want to say something, just talk, eh? If you want questions in between, there's plenty of room for that, okay? Cool? I'll continue, yeah? So, you want to say something, Alan? No? All right, cool. So, we're thinking about this more from a social perspective. So you go into metaverse not to do things by yourself, right? Not to be alone in a space. You are creating friends, and friends we call communities, right? Communities are incentivizing you to come there more often, okay? Not to be there just once, but if you have friends, your friends, Precious, right? Your friends, right? You want to see them more times than one, right? Because it's like you're with a group. And if there's a group that is there and you're not there, then you're going to be like, hey, man, I want to be part of that party, right? Great. So, and when you go to a party, you want to dress up nice, you want to wear some fancy shoes or like the nice, suave vest or something, right? Who goes out and parties? Anybody? Nobody parties here? Yeah, you go party, right?
Well, probably once
Once ever in your life or once a week?
Probably once in a while, right?
Once in a while. Yeah, I mean, you're all hardworking students, so I guess, you have a lot of time that you have to work on student work, right? Okay. So we have to really make a difference between the metaverse and Web3. You've heard both of these terms, right? The metaverse is like a 3D internet. So it's more like it's where you go online in Facebook, but then in 3D. So it's not like a screen, but it's a place, right? And within that place, you have a sense that you are there, that you're looking at a screen, but you're in the screen, right? It could mirror a real physical world, but as we will develop our concepts of metaverse during the course, that doesn't have to be true. But we hope that it's decentralized and you can access it through your cell phone, your desktop, or a virtual reality headset, right? And what decentralized is something we're going to talk about a little bit later. But Web3, it's kind of like, that's the applications, that's the technology, right? That's the NFT and the smart contracts. These are the technical, basically, aspects of this metaverse, right? That allow you to do it, you know, and the strategies that are involved with that. Okay, is that clear? Everybody still clear on this? Yes. If there are questions, you will let me know, huh? Right, Tanaka? It's clear? Cool. All right. So we see the metaverse is becoming like the next iteration of the internet, right? The internet we should imagine as this kind of flat information layer on top of the world that allows you to access all kinds of information, right? But this virtualization is like this 3D version of that, right? And we already saw that our mobile phones, even 4 or 5 years ago, were getting these second, like these iPhones, they were getting these second cameras, so they can see depth. So already kind of a lot of big companies were thinking ahead and thinking this is going to be the future. Why would we want to have 3D? Why do we want to have 3D? Alan, do you know that? Are you still there? I think we lost Gifat, by the way. You never know with internet. Alan, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just following in closely. I'm here.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think? Why do we need a 3D internet or 3D spaces to live in? Why do we want that actually?
I think they are more interactive than 2D spaces.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part. The part. Can you say it again?
I said having a 3D space, it's a bit more interactive, and there's more information. I think, especially probably when it comes to marketing and everything else, a 3D object tends to have more information and have more persuading power.
I think what you're trying to say, and I think I'm correct, is that it's interactive. It's more interactive. You mean people are in need of things that are more exciting, right? As human beings, we just want to have more excitement. You know, we went from maybe writing letters to something that is kind of digitized, and emails and text messages, and you have emojis. We just want to have more entertainment, more interaction, right? It's a human nature to develop to explore our need for more information and more experiences, right? So it's only natural for us as human beings just to develop this kind of stuff, right? It's a natural course of our technological path. But the thing is, as with everything, it's a competitive space, right? Because everybody wants your attention all the time. If it's not your friends on social media or your friends on WhatsApp or Signal, right, who are constantly texting you and you have to text back because otherwise you're insulting them or whatever, commercial players also want to have your attention, because the more time they have of Tanaka or of Precious or of Alan, right? Everybody is getting some of you, and they're getting paid for that, right? So everybody sees that if you're looking at a web page for maybe a minute, that's great. But if you're in a space of a Nike, of an Adidas, of right? So what kind of brands do you guys kind of wear usually? Anybody? Precious, what kind of brands do you wear, clothes-wise?
Balenciaga, most
No.
likely.
Jesus, that's cool. Ifat, you back in? Oh, here, I have to admit Ifat. Ifat, are you there? It's interesting. See if we have, okay, some people are just dropping out and some people are dropping in. This is how it is. Okay, so these companies, they have this idea that everybody else is doing it, so we should be doing it too, right? They just want to expand their brand. You have physical places, you know, you have a physical store for Balenciaga, right? And then you have a virtual store for Balenciaga. So you can explore your brand in different ways. You can expand, you know? There's more to be sold, because you don't even have to sell your real Balenciaga shoes or your Nike shoes, right? Now you can sell your digital shoes. They have an unlimited series of Nikes nowadays, right? Or Nike hoodies or whatever. You get my drift, Tanaka? That would be crazy, right? If you just only had a physical store and you would sell physical stuff, right? And now you have a digital store that doesn't cost you as much, and you have digital stuff and you can make more money, right? You would do that, probably, right? So you get this incentive from commercial entities to just explore these platforms, because in most cases, right, you have more exposure. And obviously, like gamers that are like traditionally more inclined to be native online present online, they don't go to your store, right? They don't go to the Balenciaga store. They're inside doing all these kind of nerdy stuff, you know, gaming, for instance. So now you can reach the gamers too, because the guys that and girls that were inside playing Fortnite, they are admit everybody, yes, they are now also kind of in this exposure reach of your company, right? So, and you can do a lot more. You can just invite great artists to promote your brand. You can use new forms like gaming to get people committed, right? So this is great. And we see that obviously this digital world is freaking amazing. There's no limit to what it can do, right? Right?
Yeah.
Mary, are you there? Mary? I'm just seeing. Yeah, he's in the waiting room. Ifat, are you there? I'm just gonna keep asking people to become participant. Ifat, yo,
I'm here.
where did you go?
Yeah, sorry, my phone went off for a second, so I had to
Okay.
rejoin again.
No worries, man. No worries.
Yeah.
Like I said, this thing happened. But just a question. I was talking about this metaverse and all this potential of the metaverse, right? But do you think we're
Yeah.
getting better by making these metaverses? Is this good for us as humans?
So personally, I believe this is just my should I say deduction from how development has been going on in the world. And like I said, this is just my perception, right? I've noticed that like the more we try to get more advanced, it seems like it's geared towards human beings generally becoming lazy, but I'm trying to find a different word for it. Because look at cars, for instance, people used to walk like really long distances now. Cars have come to the equations and vehicles and automobiles, so we don't have to do that anymore. Phones reduce the time you have to spend like communicating with people. You don't have to go all the way to another location just to talk with someone. You just pick a phone and you talk to the person. And even though it's making people lazy, it's not really a bad thing, because it seems like there's this saying, I don't really remember it, but it's more like if we weren't supposed to be in cars, the idea of cars wouldn't exist. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No,
but
you're absolutely right. Hey, Diva, can I ask you something? Which country are you from again?
I'm from Ghana.
Ghana. Have you seen changes in Ghana since everybody's gotten cell phones and stuff like that? Has your community changed, you feel?
So that's what I was trying to get to. So in one sense, it's making us lazy, but in another sense, it's increasing productivity. Because now you don't have to commute from one place to another. You're able to talk with people and have, like this Zoom, for instance, we are in different locations and yet we are talking over here. So the metaverse, I think one of the main issues it's going to really solve is increasing productivity. You wouldn't have to commute to work to meet with people and whatnot. You wouldn't have to go to stores to buy stuff and all that. And you can literally do everything from the comfort of your home. It looks like you're being lazy, but you end up saving money on transportation. You end up reducing the number of times you have to be in traffic before you get to another location. And all that, it really sums up to a very productive, well, that's if it's geared towards being productive in a sense.
And Gifat, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Yeah, these are kind of very wise statements, and these things are absolutely true. Okay.
Yeah.
We are seeing the good side of this and the bad side of this. But let's just go first to the bad side of this, right? We need to question these things because we see the metaverse develop and we see how important it is. We just talked about all the companies that want to take part in this because of the benefits, right? So it's going to grow because companies are big and companies are important, right? But it's very young. We don't know what the metaverse, the consequences will be, right? And we are kind of thinking about this from a perspective like, is this going to be good for us or bad for us? But let's just first assume that's going to be bad for us. It could result in various forms of inequality in the future. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to create this metaverse design course. I'll tell you in a second why. But this is this is a very big problematic situation. We can encounter the following things in the metaverse. We've seen that people are online, the worst part of themselves, right? They manifest in the most horrible ways, anonymously, but also digitally in virtual spaces. They can affect each other very strongly and affect each other psychologically. And in the metaverse, you just have to imagine, right, that what we do online is just multiplied. It's just the effect of it is going to be stronger. Because if I insult you, Tanaka, for instance, I insult you online, right? It's just text. That's different than if I insult you as an avatar. And you almost have the feeling that you're there. Yeah, we're also talking about almost physical violence because there's been many cases where people in VR chat, for instance, felt like they're being assaulted physically, right? So that is a problem. Moderation. We see that big tech has been collecting all of our data as we speak. Zoom is collecting our data. Like, how long are we going to be in Zoom? Who is in the call? Where are they from, right? They're collecting all the data and they're going to use all the data, but that data is now very two-dimensional. If I'm in a metaverse and they're collecting not only the data as not only what I say, but through tracking technology, And if anybody has questions about this, please interrupt me, okay? But if you're going to collect user data that it's so ingrained with their person, like the way their body moves, the way that, you know, avatars move, is that they translate your body movement onto a 3D model, your hand gestures, you know, the way that you point at somebody, the amount of space that is in between people, all these kind of things that kind of map real life data. They can apply that and sell that data. They can apply that and manipulate you to do certain stuff. You know, we call it nudging. Everybody who's in architecture must know about nudging. Nudging is a way that you create spatial features that nudge people towards a certain goal, right? So we're going to learn a lot about nudging during this course, because these are design tools to get what you want from a user. Is that clear? Everybody on the same page? Am I exciting people, or am I absolutely boring the shit out of you, all of you? No, I'm still okay? If I'm getting ultra boring, like, please let me know, right? You just have to say, Rudolph, you're boring us really badly, okay?
Nah, you're good.
I'm still okay? Okay,
You're
let's do
good.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So also, one of the other problem is, when we're talking about metaverses, right, and we're talking about these blockchains, some of you know that these are assets, right? And assets are being bought, relevant assets are always being bought with people that have money, right? And we all don't have that money. They can all buy all the assets. And again, like in the real world, right, they can rent you the assets so that you have to pay perpetually, right? But it's the law of the mightiest and the wealthiest, right? And that's going to benefit only a few people. Like, for instance, a FOMA land that I'm building right now, right? If there's one person that has enough money to buy all the buildings, right? Imagine how awful that would be, that it's just one dictator and that he owns all the land, and everybody is participant in a world that's owned by one person. That's not how it's supposed to be, right? Are we all agree? Yes, we all agree. And also because this is a technology play, metaverses are deeply technological based, right? To create a metaverse, you need knowledge about, I don't know, a lot of things. Like, how does an avatar work? What is graphically the demand of your platform to perform, you know, very beautiful environments, and they have to be created through a number of GPUs on a whatever, an Amazon server, right? It's very technical. So the people that are technical very strong will be able to benefit uh, above the people that are not technological strong. So there's a knowledge gap, right? Then we have the tools and the technologies. Like, most of you don't have the best GPU computers that there currently are. All of these computers are in the West. You know, how many supercomputers are there in Africa? Or are there in India? Or are there in South America? All the technological hardware is in the West. So if you have a better computer than another person, you have an edge, right? Yeah? What do you think about that, Alan?
I'm like I said, I'm quite fascinated by this knowledge you're sharing. It's making a lot of sense. What you're bringing up, the problems and everything else. This is some of the things that we would have never thought of. Just hearing about the metaverse would make us go like, yay, something good is coming our way. But then all these things that you're pointing out are things that we really need and have to know to keep in mind. I think it's good information.
Charity, are you there? Just want to see Charity, are you still there? I'm still, by the way, learning your name. So that's why I'm also asking you to share and participate. So it's easier for me to understand your name, okay? Precious.
Yeah, hi, Rudolph.
What do you think about what I just said?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, the metaverse is the future basically, and the truth is, the human, would I say the human nature is always, advancing, and definitely metaverse is the future. I'm actually pumped to, see what we would be able to, what value we would be receiving at the end of this course. So yeah.
I hope a lot. I'm gonna do my very best to give you a lot of value. But I just want to make sure that you understand the kind of potential challenges that if we are not participating as developers for good, then these will be things that will be on the long run, will be affected by. Okay?
Yeah.
So why do we think that this course is important, right? So we have challenges here, but we believe that we want to first understand that this should not be a technology that is only driven by the ones that have the technology, that have the financial wealth, right, and have the knowledge. Mainly 160 metaverses are being developed today, right? Where are they being developed? In the West, right? Let it sink in. Let it sink in. 160 companies are building metaverses and they're all in the West. So what does that mean? If I'm building a metaverse, I'm building something which comes from my culture, from my cultural identity, from my ideas, all the things that I find important. But I'm not taking anybody else's ideas into account. This is my own culture that I'm developing a world around, and I am offering now that to users from a different country that can participate, but on my terms, right? I am the owner of the metaverse, and you are the user of the metaverse. Now, this is not a great way of seeing how these worlds where we will be participating a lot of our time. Already Facebook and Google and other companies are kind of developing big technological monsters, and we see or suffer the consequences. But this definitely should not happen anymore. And metaverses that are only built in the West will drive Western culture in and not take into account other cultures. So we could almost see this as a form of, post-colonialism, right? And I really, really would not like to see that. And I don't think any of us would, right? So we try to give through the course, not only we want to see more cultural diversity and global values. We want to provide you with tools and techniques. I mean, tools as in softwares, right? Technologies as in understanding how to use technologies and how to use kind of certain methodologies. We want to create a network, and you are part of this network, right? For those who are not here at this moment that were selected from 200 candidates, right? They are shooting themselves in the foot because we are creating a network here as we speak. The people that are coming here to talk or just engaged with you, those are relevant people, and it could help you in your career. So I just want to point out that I don't want to force you to be here. I just want to make give you the understanding that this is it's relevant for you. But if you don't want to join, that's fine, by the way. And I hope that tomorrow, this will be the second day of the course, there will be more of us. Because it's a process that we only can learn by doing, right? Are we all agreeing? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our point is that we should understand that this whole idea of inclusivity should be discussed right now. We should tackle this problem right now and not after all these metaverses have taken place and have created a new layer upon society and have become super divisive, right? So I'm working at 01X. I created this company, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I'm not Noah at 01X, I'm Rudolf. And actually, I should have started with this, but then everybody was introducing themselves and I didn't want to ruin the party. But I've been a developer for a long time. I'm 38. And I live in the Netherlands and sometimes live in Germany. I have 2 kids. And I only basically work on projects related to digital. So I worked on virtual reality films. I worked on I've been teaching for over 4 years to students here in the Netherlands, exactly on this subject. And I've actually been building metaverses for over 5 years. And I've worked for many clients. Some of them are museums, some of them are galleries, other cultural institutions, AFOMA, for instance. So I have a very strong foundation in when it comes to building metaverses, understanding blockchain, obviously, and actually been building metaverses is something you don't see that often. A lot of people talk about metaverses, but building an actual metaverse is quite different. And I've been writing a lot about metaverses and writing a lot about the way metaverses could be built. And that's something I will share some of these articles with you as well. But with my company, we work in a team with people from all over the world. And we have a sort of a design philosophy. We believe, right, that everything that you design, right, that will have to be pushing the ideas that we have today about what virtual spaces are. So we are very much about exploring new modes of thinking about the virtual, right? We want to evoke wonder and excitement. So we want people to be really excited and like, wow, this is amazing when they come into the things that we design. But we really need to understand deeply how our users think and how our users feel. And before we start to do anything, because they're going to be in the space that we're going to be designing. And every architect knows that the things that you design affect the people. Because if you're building a prison, people feel like they're in a prison, right? If you're creating a garden, people feel much freer, right? Everything has to be inclusive and safe, because you don't want to build anything where people feel unsafe, right? And what we're doing is we're exploring a new mode of communication, because in gaming and digital features have allowed us to think what communication actually is. 20 years ago, nobody knew anything about WhatsApp, right? Or text messaging, or emojis. Emojis is a good example. That's a very weird concept to explain 20 years. If you would explain to a person 20 years ago, yeah, you're going to be communicating through pictures to another person, that they will be like, what? What? Yeah, it's like 2 hands that do like this when you have achieved something, or this, or whatever, right? It's weird, but it's a completely new way of communication. The metaverse will allow us to even explore that concept even further. If your avatar is talking a lot, for instance, and then your head expands into a balloon, then you can see from a distance who's talking the most and who's not, right? That's a way of signaling, hey, this person is talking too much, this person is not talking a lot, for instance, right? So it really defines immediately it creates a hierarchy of who's in this conversation doing the most talking, who's the least talking. How will that affect the people around that conversation, right? Can you imagine that? It's an interesting idea, right? So we believe that if you think about what we are developing, is that these considerations are very impactful and they are very broad. So you have to think about a lot of things when building a metaverse, right? We have to reimagine social human interactions, is what I just said. And we believe that if you're doing it for a brand, it is all encompassing. You're embodying a brand. So Nike or Afoma, all of Afoma is going to be in the metaverse. It's going to be a physical representation of that brand. Okay? If you want to know more about me, blah, 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 this is my website, this is the LinkedIn. I mean, you don't need to, because you can just add me on Signal if you want to talk to me, right? But you can look at my website, 01x.digital, and you see some of the projects that we've been doing. Right. Now, what we have been waiting for is this. What we're going to work on the coming weeks, right? Is everybody actually there? Okay, great. Okay. The project will be about developing a virtual architecture that leverages metaverse functionality to embody your cultural values. And I want to emphasize your cultural values. They're not my cultural values, your cultural values. Mary, are you there? Just want to check if Mary's there. Mary? No? Gifat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, what do you think about this assignment?
Well, designing an architecture that leverages or embodies the culture of where I'm from.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy this and put it in the here in the messaging box. Okay. To everyone in the meeting. Okay. This is what we will be working on. And I have an assignment for you. And tomorrow we'll be working on the first design round. Okay. Can everybody put on their cameras, please? So I just can have some faces. I like to see faces. So if everybody can put on the cameras. So again, tomorrow we'll start designing, and our mission will be to develop a virtual architecture leveraging metaverse functionalities. So what are metaverse functionalities? Think about gaming. Think about that we can do anything with a building. We don't have to think about the building from a physical perspective, right? Like there's no need for walls, actually. Things can float. Things can be interactive, right? I'll show you some of the things that we're exploring in Afoma. But things are kind of really flexible, and I'm really looking forward to see your own creativity in regards to this. Yeah. And in the upcoming weeks, we'll talk about then how does blockchain come in? How do you create an asset, something that is in a metaverse, and connect that to the blockchain, for instance, right? But for now, I don't want to fry your brains.
Yes, I am.
The session is over now.
Yes, please.
Who's this? Oh, Annie. So I have to admit. Am I the person that's admitting people now? Okay. Is it clear to everybody? I'll put it in the app group. How are you feeling, guys? How's the energy up to now? It's a lot, eh? It's a lot of information, right? Precious, what are you saying?
You know, I well, it's actually a lot, but yeah, this is not something I don't think we cannot pull through. So I'm just, I'm just trying to figure out the metaverse functionalities. I
Oh,
believe
don't
that once we're able
wait,
to like figure that
wait,
out,
wait,
we
wait,
can
wait,
take it
wait.
up from there.
Everybody here, understand, one step at a time. Really, I'm gonna, everybody here is going to learn from me how to do this. I've seen people with zero knowledge, right? Being able to do this. Now don't let the assignment get in your brain. This is something we'll learn step by step, very slowly, step by step. Okay? Don't stress. I want everybody to
Okay.
say already, in my books, you already passed the course, right? I don't want anybody to be worried about getting the diploma or anything. If you're here, you're going to get it. No question about it. Don't worry about that this is going to be difficult. It's not. We're going to do it step by step. Yes? So no fear. Only chill. Okay? Ah, that's a great question, Mary. I'm so happy that you asked that question. Really, I am. Are you still there? Okay. So, first of all, the assignment for tomorrow is not this, right? Not to develop an architect. That's not the assignment. That's going to be the assignment for weeks from now. The first thing I want to share with you, and please copy the link that I'm sending you right now in the box, right here. It's and that's good that you said about vernacular architecture, Mary. Thank you so much. This website is called Africa Vernacular Architecture. And what I want to do is I want to ask you to draw inspiration and research the architecture and functionalities of, the environment or aspects of your own country. If I would do it for me, I would do it of either of India, because my mother is Indian, from the Netherlands, right? I'm not doing the assignment. You are doing the assignment. But what I really want you to understand, so if we can, I'll just go to the website now and share my screen, okay? Is that okay with everybody? I hope your brains are not exploding right now. Okay? Is it just
Definitely.
one more link here. You can see my stuff. Okay. You can also see my screen, right? All right. So this website has from every African country resources, images. So for instance, from Ghana, we have a number of images related to the architecture, original architecture. Why am I doing this? So this is an example, right? Why am I doing this? Because whenever we design something, we need to have some conceptual foundation, right? And that foundation starts with the maker itself. It's not me, or it's not anybody else. You design from your personal heritage, from your personal originality, right? Is that clear? Anybody questions? Alan, do you have questions? No? Ifat, question? No? Yes? You're still on mute, buddy. So I can't hear you.
Can you, sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
I had a question, but I just can't remember what it was, so I'm sure it will come back to me.
Okay. Tanaka, are you still, do you have questions?
Not at the moment.
How is your energy level, Tanaka? Are you okay?
A bit low, maybe 30% now.
What is happening?
I think I'm kind of thinking ahead maybe of like how everything fits in, how what we talked about, inequality and stuff like that, like how actually this would build up later and stuff like that. So I guess that's a lot of thinking.
Okay, for who was it the whole session this first day a lot of information? Honestly, for who was it too much information?
It's not too much information. It wasn't too much information. I think it was just right, but I tend to think about the information that I was given.
Okay, I thought it was too much information because you see a lot of faces and everybody wants to introduce to you. But this is the first days, always like this. First days suck. But tomorrow we're going to be more creative, okay? Okay, guys and girls? Mary, are you still there, by the way? I just see a black void. Okay. Tomorrow you'll get the new link. Everybody okay? Chill, USA. Just, you know, do Saturday stuff. Go outside, have a walk. Walk with the... Yes.
So,
Sorry, I can't hear you, buddy.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Write down.
I still can't hear you. You know what? Maybe can you type it in as a message? Can you type it as a message in the message box? But I think something's wrong with your microphone.
While you're typing, I do have a question.
Sure.
So, one of the PowerPoints, one of the points that you wrote in the PowerPoint was that, you know, metaverse is built on the social aspect, right? Like how people want to interact.
Yep.
So I'm curious, why is it important to maybe develop infrastructure maybe from a cultural point of view, and how it's linked to interaction?
Right. That's a great question. It doesn't have to be at all. I just
Really?
want to. I just want to have you. Oh, if somebody admit, yes, somebody else is joining. It doesn't have to be. So I can tell you the entire process, but I think it would also be kind of too much if I would go through all of the steps that we are going to design this, to design your project, right? Because we're going to create mood boards. We're going to create sketches from the mood boards, right? We're going to translate the sketches into design, 3D designs, and then we're going to test them in a virtual space, okay? But to come up with a mood board, before that we do research, right? Research is basically based on the case study, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey man, you're a little bit late, buddy, but tomorrow's a new day. I'm just gonna reiterate the project. So we're going to end up with this virtual architecture, right? And if you want, again, you can choose to build something specific for the demo metaverse and help us create a FOMA land. You don't have to. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that this is an opportunity, but you don't have to. If you are interested in something else, you can do that. But we start.
Yes, I am.
Good. But tomorrow we're gonna have a design day, so
Yes,
everybody
yes.
think about it first, and tomorrow we'll have the first design day. But coming back to you, Tanaka, please understand, in a metaverse, there are no constraints. You do architecture, right?
No,
Oh,
part of it.
okay.
Part.
But imagine this: if I'm building a church in the Netherlands, or I'm building a library, right? There are always constraints, because the government, the municipality will say you can only build there. Then I have to take into account the roads. Then I have to take into account the plumage. Then I have to take into account how high buildings can be from a building regulation point of view, right? Then I have to take into account how many people have to be in there, right? But in the metaverse, there are no rules. You can do anything, which is great, but it's also a big problem. Because how do I know how to design something? I don't know how to design something. There are no references. So we design first from who are we? First understand who we are. Where do we come from? What kind of conceptual baggage do we get? So that's why I gave to all of you the link, just as a sort of a practice, called an exercise. I just want to explore that you can look back to your country, and I will do the same. No, I won't do the same because it takes too much time. But I will ask you to, and then we'll discuss tomorrow, what did you find? What are the things architecturally that you found interesting? What are the people, what were they doing in architecture? Just give me a small overview of what did you find, and what did you think were relevant, and what would you like to see or culturally in a metaverse. Is that okay, Alan? You get it? Are you okay? Who's okay? Thumbs up with this. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, sorry, Gifat. We'll use Mozilla Hubs to mock up the ideas that we have in the metaverse. Yeah, it's a off-the-shelf software, so we can see each other in a metaverse and see the things that you designed. Yeah, and if you are one of the persons that wants to build something for a FOMA land, then we'll use Unity, and then we'll design it with my developers, so we can make it really like amazing looking also. Because Mozilla Hubs will only be used, but we'll get to that. Everybody, just absorb all the information. We'll come back tomorrow, right? We'll come back tomorrow with a fresh brain, and we'll discuss. And we'll be using this link, right? Just to explore a little bit. I'll put it on the signal also, okay? A little bit from where are you coming from? Secondly, and I know it's a lot, okay? But this is just for you, because I know you like this. Just some more links. Read these articles, right? These articles are important. Why we think that, I think it's important for you to know that the continent of Africa will be the most relevant continent in the next coming decades. Hands down. Yeah? Hands down, the African continent will be the most important continent because of the demographic and the potential of people like you, right? And I want you to read this because I want you to understand that you're sitting on a huge potential, and you all can be game changers, right? You all can be learning how to be leaders in your community or in your continent and create new technologies, new business applications, new ideas, okay? And these articles prove that. Okay, this is the end of the session. Sorry for keeping you so long. I'll make sure that tomorrow will be a little bit shorter, okay? We're not going to do a too long, deep killing murder session. Okay? I'm going to sign off now. You got the links? I'll put the links up in the chat. Okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody good? See you guys tomorrow. You get the Zoom link in online. Yeah? Good? Okay. I'm going to go now then.